Everybody, TacBishop here. Today's video is going to be kind of a response video to my own video, or a long answer to a short question that I get continuously on this other video, is getting your CDLs with no schools. I did it a while back. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to go back and watch that video, but a lot of people are watching that video. A lot of people are having questions, and a lot of people that run trucking schools are going over there, and they're really giving me a hard time, saying that you cannot do it this way. And some people have mentioned that certain states won't allow certain rules, and you know, all this stuff. So what I'm going to try to do here is kind of clarify what I did over there. It was a 10-minute video, and it's hard to explain anything in 10 minutes. And if you make a longer video, it's hard to keep anybody's attention longer than 10 minutes. So I'm going to just do this video for whatever it's worth. If you want to listen, listen. If you don't, you know. But I'm going to try to keep it interesting and try to explain. And if you have asked a question into another video, this is going to be the answer that you receive instead of a written out. I can't keep typing up answers and try to solve every little problem that people run into. Now that's what you're, to begin, when you pay a school these high tuition fees to learn their job, that's what you're paying for. You're paying somebody else to do all the work for you. All you want to do is they do everything they can other than take the test for you. That's what you're paying for. The way I've explained in this video briefly before was that you can get them without going to school, but there's still a price to pay, and you're going to have to pay it with your work, your ingenuity, your thinking out of the box, and figuring a way to get through this system without just paying somebody else to do it for you, and then end up first day on the job you owe anywhere from $1,500 to $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 for a school tuition. And these people act like they own you now. You have to work for these cut rates. You're with trainers. You're supposed to be with trainers, but you're actually a co-driver with another driver, and he's not really showing you much from the bunk. And I know I'm going to get a lot of grief for saying that, but there's so many times that I've heard people say that they're a trainee driver and there's guys sleeping in the bunk. A lot of guys say, I would never do that. Well, you wouldn't do it, but they're doing it. So don't make out like just because you're not doing it that everybody else isn't doing it, because it is widely done. That being said, my way was just like I said before. You get your DOT manual. Now, I've had a couple of guys that run these schools say that you can't do that in every state. So good, you can't do it in every state, but I'm not going to sit here and call every state and see if you can do this particular system of getting your CDL. If you can, you can. If you can't, you can't. But it's not going to cost you anything to find out, is what I'm getting at. You get your manual, get your Class A learner's permit, then you have to go to work. You're not going to be able to go and get your, even if you can, all right, let me stop. Get your Class A learner's permit, then you need to get your Class A driver's license, which is going to require you to go in front of a DOT examiner and do the road trip and the pre-trip inspection. That's a lot of the question of how do I go about doing that? Well, there's two ways of doing that. One way, get a friend that's got a truck to carry you over there and let you do it on his truck. If you don't have that, you're going to have to use your brain and a little ingenuity. You're going to drive around, or when you're going around in your area, you're going to see a log truck sitting over here, or some kind of truck with the owner-operator, single truck guy. He's going to be out of work one day because of weather or whatever. You go up to him, call the number on the side of the truck, and ask him, will he help you do your pre-trip and DOT road test. I'm sure he will, because they like money just like everybody else. You may have to pay a small may cost you $150 to get him to go over there one day when he's out of work. He carries you over. You know, he would even walk you through a pre-trip and a post-trip. People will help you do these things. I would help any driver that came up to me right now that was looking for a license. I would help him, and I would show him personally how to do a post-trip inspection. I'd walk him through it as many times as he wanted for nothing. So you can go that route. Okay, this another route you can go, like I've said before, is go to a mail company that's not the post office, but the contractors that work for the post office. Every city in the United States has one of these. Every one of them. It's just the way the post office business is done. I'm not talking about going to the post office, I'm talking about going to the contractor for the post office. If you don't know who that is, you can go inside the post office into the clerk, into one of the smaller branches, and ask them who picks up their mail at night, what company. They know these people, they know the driver. And they'll tell you who the company is, and they may have the phone number. If they don't, if you're sitting in the parking lot at 5:30, you'll see the guy drive in because the post office closes at 5:30 every day. Someone has to go in and pick up that mail. That truck will be there every day. Talk to the driver. He knows the owner. He can probably help you get a job. And you would parlay that into your Class A CDL learner permit. You tell the owner what you're trying to do. He will put you on a box truck for a couple of months, which is a smaller, not a combination vehicle, but a smaller truck. You would learn the post office game, and then later on he would take one of the tractor trailer drivers and let him teach you how to drive a tractor trailer. That's what I did when I was working for the post office or for the contractor. I would help people learn how to drive a tractor trailer, stepping up from the box trucks. Tractor trailers aren't that hard to drive, period. It's not that hard. I know a lot of guys want to make out like it is, but it's not. There's a lot of things you have to learn if you want to go over the road, but you're not trying to go over the road, you're trying to be a tractor trailer driver. Now, if you want to be a 50 states over the road driver, if that's your thing, I would go pay the Swift and go that direction. But 99% of you are not going to like it. There's very few people that want to drive for these long distance freight companies, just hopping all over the country, 6 to 8 months out of the year. So I'd say three to 6 weeks out of the month, or at a time, away from home, never having any idea where you're going. It's a nightmare that you don't want. That's why 99% of the drivers continuously turn over. Some of them just get out of the business altogether. But you still got that that big tuition to pay back. So, but if you want to go that route, if you think that's where you want to go, just go that route. If you don't, you can go this other route. But there is still, like I said, there's a price to pay. You can do the mail way that I just explained, or you can go with your Class A CDL learner permit to somewhere like any freight company. Tell them you want to work the docks, and then they'll allow you to move trucks around and back it into the docking areas. You'll be able to do your pre-trip inspections right there, because even those dock trucks need to be inspected. Give you some hands-on experience driving a truck. But you're going to have to work. You're going to have to load the trucks, and that's part of paying the price. Instead of paying I'm just going to say $6,000 on an average tuition, you're paying with your blood and sweat and physical abilities. Drink companies, beer companies, wholesale companies, they'll help you also. If you can go in there in this fashion, they'll help you get your CDLs. You may have to drive a short truck for a couple of months, but they'll graduate you up to the tractor trailer. But you're going to have to work. It's not going to be bombing down the highway 500 miles a day. You're going to be delivering to Hardee's, Carl Jr.'s, whatever you have in your area, whatever fast food you have in your area. But you'll be maneuvering a truck around town to town. You'll be driving a tractor trailer. But you're not going to be a freight driver. And I'm going to say again, I know very few people that like to drive freight. They do it for a living. They don't like it. It's just a living, unless you can get on a dedicated run or something like that, it might be better, but it's just bad. Everybody wants to be local or a dedicated run or something like that, and these larger trucking companies are selling it that this is the only way you can go. Come to our school, pay me $6,000, we'll teach you how to do it, and then you can quit in 2 years and go do something else. But what I'm trying to say in that other video and this video is it doesn't have to be that way, but there is going to be a price to pay, and you're saving money because you're using your back and your knowledge and your creativity to get through this system without just paying somebody else for it. Price for everything. Just like the brokers now. Brokers have wedged themselves in between the truck drivers and the shippers, and people wonder why there's no money in trucking. It's because the brokers are taking all the money out of trucking. Why? A broker makes a lot more than you think he does off of a load. And you do all the expense, all the training. You have to keep your CDLs up. You have to keep your health up. You have to be careful all day. You have to put up with all the aggravation. And a broker, all he does is set up a load and hang up. And he probably gets a couple of $100 off of every load just for doing that 10 minutes of work. And you get $500 for doing all the work. But like I said before, it's a price you have to pay. It's just not easy, That's why there's such a turnover in trucking now. People get thrown into it, and everything's just everywhere. It's just a hornet's nest until you can work your way through it. I a while trying to do the over-the-road thing with the freight, and it didn't take maybe just a couple of weeks to find out I didn't want any part of that. It's just a nightmare, just one nightmare after another every step of the way. From driving to when you get to a shipper, you got a problem there. When you call your dispatcher, there's problems there. When you get to the receivers, there's problems there. When you get to the fuel aisle, there's problems there. You can't sleep here, you can't go there, you can't drive down there, you can't turn around here, the bridge's too low. Just one problem after another, and the money's just not worth it. I mean, by the time you pay all that money to get a job, it's just like going to McDonald's, and what if they start charging you to train you there? Like, well, okay, we got a job, you can come back here and flip hamburgers, but you got to go to our hamburger flipping school, which is $50, so you got to pay for that. Every industry could charge to train you. I mean, I thought they were supposed to train you, to do the job, but I guess there's such a turnover in trucking now that they hate to train a driver because he's not going to be here much longer. I mean, once he gets a job, he doesn't like this company, and another company promises you the moon and the sun, so you go over there and find out that it's not over there. So another company, so you go over there, and then you're away from home too much, so you go to this company because they're not away from home so much. But then there's something else wrong here. You're spending too much time waiting for loads, so that's not any fun, so you move over there. And everybody right now in trucking is just jumping. Where I work, there's a lot of guys, they found other jobs somewhere else. That job's better over there. And then you hear he's over there. And then, well, next week you see him go by and he's driving another truck. Oh, I thought you were over there. Well, that didn't work out. I'm over here. Just I don't know. I just got somewhere, wherever I go, And I've had several jobs until they quit me. I didn't quit them. The last with the post office deal was the sugar pie of all deals that I had, and it just went away. They closed the post office in my area, and I didn't want to move to the other area, and I didn't want to deadhead 72 miles one day to pick up my truck one way, so I just moved on. You know, that time ran out. I can make money wherever I go, but you just have to figure it out. There's people that do the same job I do, and I make, you know, more than they do, and there's other guys that do the same job I do, they're making more than I am. They've figured out even a better way than I have. So, but we're all doing the same job, but there's a big variation in pay, and we're doing the same exact job. You can figure it out. Whatever you do, there's money there. But the moral of this story is you get what you pay for, and everything's got a price, whether it's money that you save, money that you borrow, or blood and sweat and physical labor that you have to do to accomplish your goals. It's all the same. There is no free ride, and trucking is probably one of the worst industries now to get into. The free ride is well over here. They're taking everything they can from you. If you think you're going to make $1, somebody's going to come and try to jam their little business in there, such as, you know, the sleep apnea thing that's going on now is back and forth. Just always somebody coming after your money. The CSA scores, that's a whole other thing. It's just a rough business to be in, and this video is really going long, but if you're still here and you like the video, give me a thumbs up. If you're not, but this is my response to any questions that you have about CDLs or no schools, and maybe I answered it, or maybe I didn't. TacBishop.